been reports from New York of a loud explosion heard in the Chelsea neighborhood of Manhattan. Police and fire engines are at the scene and there are reports of some people being taken away by ambulance. The Reuters news agency said a loud explosion shook the Chelsea neighborhood on Saturday night, prompting New York City Police and Fire Department personnel to swarm the area. It happened at roughly 8:30 local time, that is around 1:30 BST, on 23rd Street between 6th and 7th Avenues. At least 3 people were seen being taken away from the scene of the blast in ambulances, but the severity of their injuries was not immediately clear. Other reports speak of multiple injuries. One says as many as 25 people were hurt. None appear to have life-threatening injuries at this time. The blast comes hours after a pipe bomb exploded in a garbage can in Seaside Park in New Jersey during a Marine Corps charity run. Well, we're going to talk to Itai, who is an eyewitness from the scene. He joins us live from New York. Now, Itai, tell us what you saw.
Hi, I was sitting in my friend Lior's apartment. We were watching TV, and then there was a huge flash of light, like a big boom. And we went outside to the front porch, and we saw there was a huge cloud of smoke that smelled like gunpowder or something of the sort. And we saw a few cars all smashed up, and people screaming and away from the.
I mean, how much do you know about the safety of your friends and family? Have you been able to speak to them?
So my friend Lior's wife is not home, and we were frantic, and we managed to get her on the phone. We were really worried. We called some friends around to see if everybody is okay, but we didn't hear of everyone we know that got injured. Then we went downstairs, and the front of the building is all the glass shattered. And it's all crazy down here with police cars and fire trucks right now.
I mean, how are you?
I hope everybody's okay.
How are you now? Because you're saying that the glass in the front of your building was shattered. Luckily, your friends and family are safe. But how are you?
I'm safe, luckily. So we were in the apartment. None of the glass here broke, luckily. And I don't know. We're just shaking up, I guess. It's really scary. I
mean, it really must have been. We're looking at pictures right now that you shot from a window, and it just looks really incredibly frightening seeing police there. What's the scene like at the moment?
So right now it's still a mess. There's a lot of police cars and trucks. In the first few minutes, I gotta say, the fire trucks, the early responders took really 10 seconds, and there were cars outside. And immediately they started searching for something. So I don't know, there were flashlights and cranes. They were looking into buildings. So it felt more like a terror event than something like a gas line that exploded. But really, I don't really know. Other than on Twitter, I don't really know.
I mean, how much advice and information have you been given by authorities there, both about what to do and what this might be?
Nothing specific. But again, it's the middle of New York City. You don't expect anything like this to happen.
So are you being told to stay at home, stay in your houses, to go to, if you've got other relatives?
I didn't get any special notification or any word from authorities to do anything special. But to tell you the truth, I wasn't really I wasn't on websites or looking for what to do because we're currently safe. But people that were injured, I guess, I don't know.
Itai Kohai, thank you so much for taking the time. You must have been incredibly scared. Be safe, and thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us here on BBC News. Well, with me is our news correspondent, Andy Moore. You've been following this. What more can you tell us?
Well, the New York Fire Department is proving a reliable source of information, and they've just told us officially on Twitter that 25 people have been injured, 25 civilians injured, they say, and none of those injuries appear to be life-threatening. And the New York Fire Department earlier told us that they believed this was caused by an explosive device. We haven't heard that yet officially from any other source. The New York police are saying the explosion happened at roughly 8:30, and they said there were a number of injuries. So the police are confirming an explosion. They're not talking about an explosive device. Now, I've seen pictures from the scene, and there seems to be damage to what the Americans call a dumpster, which is a movable garbage container. It may be that people are just leaping to conclusions, but certainly there was an incident yesterday on Saturday in New Jersey, nearby New Jersey, where there was a pipe bomb that exploded in a garbage can at the start of a 5-kilometre race, a charity race for Marines. So at the moment, though there's not any official confirmation, people are very worried, obviously, and are linking in their minds these two events.
I mean, we heard Itai speaking there saying that's exactly what he was worried about. Any further from the authorities?
No, I mean, certainly the FBI are investigating that first event, which happened on a boardwalk on a seaside in New Jersey just before the start of the race, so nobody was injured, fortunately, in that. The FBI are investigating that incident. Obviously, they'll be looking to see if there is any link with this new incident. I mean, certainly there are fears that there might have been other devices here in the middle of Manhattan because the police were clearing the area.
Okay, Andy, we're just going to go to another eyewitness now. We'll come back to you in just a moment. Alexandra Soas joins us on the line from New York. She lives in a high-rise nearby. Alexandra, just tell us what you saw.
Well, I heard it first, and I actually felt it. My husband and I were sitting on the couch. Our apartment overlooked 6th Avenue, and we have a good view of 23rd Street. So we were sitting on the couch and heard an incredibly loud boom. It literally shook us from our couch. We both jumped up in a panic. And when we assessed that, everything in our local space was okay, we looked out the window and we could see people running down 23rd Street. And we did not see any smoke. We didn't smell anything. And then we started to hear sirens. And quite quickly, there was an active response to the scene.
And what's the situation there now?
It's actually very relatively calm. I've been keeping an eye on it since it happened shortly after 8:30 Eastern, our time. Not many ambulances leaving the scene. They've blocked off the area. For about 15 minutes after the event, there were still pedestrians along 6th Avenue and 23rd Street, and now many blocks around the area have been cordoned off. So not very busy with people, still a lot of active rescue responder vehicles here, but calm.
I mean, we're just looking at pictures, live pictures from New York now of the scene, and we can see what looks like firemen and also police there, as you said, first responders at the scene. I mean, how have you managed to check on family, on friends and neighbours and the like?
Of course, everyone that's close to us in the neighborhood I've reached out to. Thankfully, I've had all positive responses. It's a scary thing, being so close to a national event like September 11th. Something like this happens, and your mind goes to a catastrophic place. But at the moment, it seems calm and controlled.
And have you heard anything from authorities? I mean, that must be the fear in the back of a lot of people's minds, wasn't it? Have you had anything to sort of calm those fears?
There is talk that there was an explosion in a dumpster. And we know from living in this area and walking along 23rd Street, there is an active construction site right there where this dumpster was. So we are a little bit calmed by the fact that perhaps this was just a bad coincidence, maybe a gas explosion, something like that. So no, our mind is not, it goes there, but we're trying to stay calm.
Well, Alexandra, do stay safe, and thank you for taking the time to speak to us here on BBC News.
Of course, thank you.
I mean, Andy, you heard Alexandra there speaking about the place that it takes people to in New York. This comes against a sort of wider global context of sort of heightened alert, doesn't it? Where is America in that at the moment?
Well, America is concerned, and obviously the people in New York want to know what's going on. What was the cause of the explosion? And I've just seen that the mayor of New York, Bill de Blasio, is heading to the scene of explosion. That's a tweet from the mayor's office. So the mayor is heading there, and we're told that there will be more info to come. And we believe the New York police is setting out a media staging department there. So presumably the police will be talking at some stage to let people know what they believe is the cause of this. Initially we thought it might be some sort of gas explosion. The New York Fire Department said no, it was an explosive device. They're the only people saying that at the moment, and there's been no confirmation. I think in a situation like this, people just want information as quickly as possible and as reliable information as possible.
I mean, as far as we know, there have not been evacuations yet, have there? The two eyewitnesses we spoke to are still in their homes.
That's right. Certainly I saw a video from the scene where police on the streets were extending the cordon. Obviously in a situation like this, police would set up a cordon and people would go to it and film and question the police. And while that was happening, police extended that cordon. So that was some while after the initial incident, suggesting that they may have been worried about a possible other explosion. But as you say, there hasn't been a widespread evacuation of several blocks, nothing like that. People are being allowed to stay in their homes.